It's Great Day Houston. And now here's your host, Deborah Duncan.
Good morning and welcome to Great Day Houston, everybody. Okay, so if you could work out and you had music like that going on, wouldn't it make you work out more, right? I'd lose 50 pounds in the first week. All right, well, many of you watched the Golden Globes last night, and you were touched by the tribute to Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. As you know, when Fisher unexpectedly passed away, her mother died the next day. We know stress can impact your health, but can one single event be enough to shut the body down? That's one of the issues we're discussing on this Medical Monday. It is in Medical Hot Topics. On today's panel, welcome psychiatrist Dr. Carlin Barnes, gastrosurgeon Dr. Elias Darido, chiropractor Dr. Jeff Martin, and orthopedic surgeon Dr. Adam Friedhan. Good morning. Good morning. All right. This has been known to happen in the past. And so when this happened, people thought, is this kind of what we talk about symbolically as a broken heart? Can one event of such stress actually be enough to put someone over the edge?
Interesting, yes, it certainly can. The American Heart Association, Deborah, has found that there's actually a syndrome called broken heart syndrome. And about 1% of the population can suffer a tragic event, such as grief or loss of a loved one, that can actually cause the heart to go into a situation where the cardiac kind of shuts down and fails.
All right, so some truth to that. Okay, apparently there's been a new organ found. Did y'all know you have another organ? Well, apparently it's this new organ. Medical communities have known about it for like thousands of years, but it's been, I guess, better defined. It made such a kind of a whirlpool in the news that Jimmy Kimmel had it as part of his stand-up on Friday night.
There's one we didn't know about in there, and it's a special thing when we discover an organ. It happened to me in the 5th grade, and I really have to say, this is where the mesentery is located. It's right somewhere between the spare ribs and the breadbasket there.
All right, yeah, Jimmy, we weren't talking about that, but yeah, the mesentery, part of the digestive system. Tell us what this is and what it does.
It's a leaflet that holds the intestine, attaches the intestine to the abdominal wall. It allows the intestines to move as they are digesting and moving the food down. But I think the interesting thing about it is that the intestines are now considered the largest endocrine and immune organ in the body because they do secrete hundreds of hormones that we did not know about before.
Yeah.
And these hormones affect your appetite, your metabolism, your weight, diabetes. And we've seen this with bariatric surgery when we operate on the intestines only.
Right.
Diabetes resolves. Your appetite, which is in your brain, changes. And this is because these hormones secreted by the intestines are affecting these organs outside the abdominal cavity and resulting in these.
We've known that's existed, so we didn't just now discover it, but we better define it in a different way.
That's amazing. I mean, we've all gone through anatomy classes going through medical school, and we've held the mesentery in our hands. It's just never considered an organ before.
We consider it to be just like a connection, but now it's an active organ.
Yeah, we were trying to understand what that was last week in the office. You should have heard that conversation. Clearly, none of us went to medical school. But so I guess the question I was asking that would probably make us understand it better is, what would happen if you didn't have a mesentery?
Well, the intestines have to be suspended because they have to move. So they will be stuck and they cannot move. And if the intestines cannot move, you cannot move food down.
Oh,
right?
There you go. You'd have one meal and that's
so
about
that's
it.
one anatomical function,
It also conveys the blood supply.
It carries the blood supply.
Okay. There is some new cheese research. How many of you love cheese? Yeah. Cheese, glorious cheese. Yes. All right. But it says that real cheese may actually help your heart. And I think that when you say the word real here, we've gotten so big in taking so much out of food. Like, oh, it has fat in it, take it out. But that's what's naturally in that food that works with us naturally. So, Dr. Martin, okay to have some real stuff every now and then.
Well, yeah, and it's, I was talking with my folks about this over the weekend, and Mom's like, oh, great, your dad can now have another excuse for Mexican food. Yeah. Every night. He says, no, okay, baby,
Velveeta might be a little bit different than real
chips
cheese.
And queso. No, but in moderation. I think what this is talking about is, 1 ounce of cheddar cheese and how it's broken down, because what you'll find in cheese is more higher concentration of protein, calcium, vitamin D, things like that can help the body as opposed to harming the body.
Yeah.
Plus it tastes better.
Yeah, plus it tastes better, right? Does it not taste better?
You have to understand that real cheese is different from processed cheese.
Right.
And, you know, processed cheese is very bad for you.
Well, a lot of it's like made with the kind of animal fat and oils
Well, they
and
add
things
oils
like
and
that. Yeah.
emulsifiers, and when you consume that, even in small amounts, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Real cheese in small amounts is a good food. It's a real good food to have. Rich in proteins.
Now, that doesn't mean that you go take the whole chunk.
Yeah, exactly. In moderation. Everything in moderation. Real food in moderation is the best thing.
All right. Every one of you in your disciplines have seen how it's benefited from research, right? Cancer at one point was almost like an automatic death sentence to a lot of people. Today they said the death rate has dropped 25% just since 1991. So lung, breast, prostate, colorectal, all of them are down. A lot of that's due to prevention, awareness, and, of course, obviously treatment. Okay, later on in the show, I'm so excited about this story. There's a gentleman here who is one of the people responsible for dropping the leukemia death rate in children. And when he came to work at MD Anderson back in the late 1950s, it was a 98% death rate. And today it's a 98% success rate. So we'll talk about how that happened. Because the idea that he came up with, everyone said that's inhumane, there's no possible way we could do that. And you all have seen that in probably every one of your disciplines where people had an idea and you thought, will that work? And then here we are today, it works. Okay, doctors, thank you very much. We're going to get ready for your segments coming up.